Hey guys, what's up? This is Edgemeister, and today I'm here with a video on shotguns in Destiny, and which ones are the best for PvP. Now, I am missing one of the shotguns on this list, and it is one of the better shotguns you can get. I will say that at the very end before I go to PlayStation, because I actually have a shotgun on PlayStation that I don't have on Xbox anymore. However, do not fear, because you can still get this, and I'll explain it when I get to it. Anyways, let's kind of go within the days here. So first of all, the very first really good shotgun was really the Found Verdict and Comedian. But let's go over Found Verdict here real quick. This one you can still get doing the Vault of Glass raid on normal mode. I was lucky enough to get this guy the very second time I did Vault of Glass. The very first time I did it, I got Praetor's Revenge, and I was also lucky enough to get Praetorian Foil. Anyways, this shotgun has a decent amount of impact and range. I will be going over all of these over some gameplay afterwards, saying which one has the best impact and range. But anyways, this guy is good because you know you're getting a really good roll, because on the old raid weapons, you kind of didn't choose your roll. You had a guaranteed perk set for your rolls. So the best perk to go through on Found Verdict is Accurized Ballistics in terms of the ballistics. Full Auto isn't the best PvP perk, but in PvE it makes this gun very, very good. And then you can go ahead and use Send It to get some extra range in there. And then Final Round to, well, obviously give you bonus damage, which in turn gives you bonus range on the thing. Next up is a Comedian, and now I'm going to start talking about your shotgun rolls. So most of the shotguns on this list come with the ability to roll with different perks, and so I'll just go over which perks are the best. So in terms of the perks on this end, I think it's like Accurized Ballistics is one of the best, and the other one is, I believe I have on my phone here, is Field Choke. Field Choke or Accurized Ballistics are the best ballistics you can get here. Obviously, if you do not have those, do not dismantle it. You might have some good rolls over here. So next up you have a Rangefinder, which is definitely a must-have for a PvP shotgun. This increases your effective range when you aim down the sights. And yeah, it's just very good. When it comes to shotguns for PvP, you're going to want to have the farthest range possible. Therefore, stat-wise, you're going to want to stay away from high rate of fire, low impact shotguns. And the Comedian is kind of in the middle. So, yeah, let's just say it's not going to be the best you can get. I'm just putting it on this list because it is one of the best ones you can use. Again, you want really high impact, really high range, and low rate of fire. Obviously, the higher rate of fire would be better, but yes. And then you're going to want a perk like Small Bore, or I believe, what is the other one you can get? A Rifle Barrel. Small Bore or Rifle Barrel are the best ones you can get for perks right here. You just want something that increases your range. And then, of course, like I said, Final Round is always good. You're going to want something that either increases your damage, like Final Round, Luck in the Chamber. What else can you have? You can have... sometimes some shotguns have, I believe it is Crowd Control that can grant you bonus stuff. You can get a perk that lets you, let's see if I can find here, yeah, this one here, Close and or Personal, which increases your melee damage for the shotgun melee, good old shotgun melee. You can also get a perk like Knee Pads or Battle Runner to increase your slide, which you actually slide a lot more when using shotguns than usually any other gun. Or, of course, Battle Runner increases your speed. So yeah, this is the Comedian. Let's compare this to Found Verdict, which will be our base because it has set perk rolls. As you can see, Found Verdict is better stat-wise. This obviously has better PvP rolls. Denser Nova, I swear to God, I'm doing a video. Are you kidding me, Denser Nova? Okay. So let's go on to the next one. We have Two to the Morgue. As you can see, this has exactly the same rolls as Found Verdict and Denser Nova. Are you kidding me? Yes, so as you can see, this has Rifle Barrel, which is also a decent perk to change the range. Field Choke, as it's one of the really good ones. It has Rangefinder, which is a must, and Performance Bonus, which nowadays you're going to want as much ammo as possible. So Performance Bonus might grant you some bonus reserve ammo when you get kills. It's always very good to have. And both of these can be obtained if you already had one in year 1, or this one can be obtained through Vanguard packages, and this one can be obtained through Crucible packages. These are both year 1 weapons, and of course they're here in year 2 as well. So next up we have the Felwinter's Lie. Now this guy, if you look, has the same range as Found Verdict, but it has an immense impact. Back in the day, this was called the Felwinter's archetype. As you can see, it has a very, very low rate of fire. In fact, one of the lowest rate of fires of all shotguns. My role, I have Field Choke, Luck in the Chamber, Hammer Forged. Now, back in the day, Hammer Forged used to increase the range by a lot more, but they nerfed it and they made it so shotguns could no longer roll with Hammer Forged. So unless you have a year 1, not only year 1 actually, a, what's it called? Freaking, it's into my tongue. Dark Below Felwinter's Lie is the only one you can roll with Hammer Forged as well as Rangefinder. So let's kind of talk about this now that we're getting into re-rolling. So Dark Below Iron Banner weapons that are legendary, and all legendary House of Wolves weapons can be re-rolled, meaning that if I go ahead and equip this Felwinter, I can run over to the gunsmith and kind of give it a new set of rolls. So that, I'm not going to do it now because I have really good rolls on this thing, but I can come over here, press A to acquire, and it'll actually change up the perks that are on here. So if you are lucky enough to have a House of Wolves shotgun, you can do this. Now, you can actually still get one that you can re-roll, and that will be on my PlayStation 3. I will show you guys in a bit later. But yeah, Felwinter is basically the god weapon. So, yeah. Next up came House of Wolves. So obviously you can still get the Felwinter's Lie during House of Wolves, but you also got 2 more shotguns, or 3 more, 4 more actually. One of them I'll have to show later on though. You got the Party Crasher +1, which you can still get in year 2 form. I'm going to just show you the year 1 version because I can re-roll it. I don't have god rolls on a year 2 version. I have really good rolls on a year 2 version, except for it doesn't have rangefinder. But the only difference between this one and other ones will be the ballistics and the perks to increase the range. You also have the Judgment 6, which is the new Monarchy shotgun from year 1. Obviously the House of Wolves version you could re-roll. And you got the Matador 64. So let's compare the Party Crasher. This one's still really relevant because you can get this right now. It's very popular. As you can see, it has more impact, but a bit less range. So as you can see, you look at it with the Felwinter, it has a bit less in both, but it has a lot more rate of fire. With the Felwinter's Lie, if you would have missed a shot, then you're basically dead. With the Party Crasher +1, you obviously have a lot more room to, well, place another shot. And that doesn't look like too much, but trust me, it's a lot you can do extra there. So yeah, just go and get your Party Crasher because it is very good. It is basically a Felwinter with high rate of fire, which makes it, in a lot of people's opinion, one of the best shotguns you can use. Next up we have the Judgment 6, which has exact same rolls as the Found Verdict. Obviously, just like 2 to the Morgue you can currently get right now, so you don't really have to worry about getting this as long as you get a really good 2 to the Morgue. The only bonus with this guy was you can actually re-roll it. As you can see, I re-rolled it to get a pretty good roll here. I got Rifle Barrel, which I said is like one of the best perks, Field Choke, and Rangefinder. Perfect. Rodeo is not too great though. Obviously my 2 to the Morgue is a bit better. Just comparing it, this has 6 in the magazine, this has 4. This has more stability, which you don't really need, and a lot more reload than the Judgment. So just go for the 2 to the Morgue. Overall, the Judgment is a good weapon. If you got a hit back in the House of Wolves and found out you did not dismantle it, go ahead and re-roll this thing, try to get a really good roll on it. Next up, we have the Matador 64, and something really interesting is it is the exact same thing as the Felwinter. As you can see, my Matador actually has a little bit more impact than the Felwinter, my Felwinter, just because of my ballistics. I got aggressive ballistics, reinforced barrel. I did not get rifle barrel. If I did, this thing would be freaking overpowered. Rangefinder and knee pads, which means sliding is a lot better. But the thing about this guy is it actually has more impact than the Felwinter's Lie. I mean, more rate of fire. So not as much as the Party Crasher, but this thing is definitely a beast. Obviously, when I get my luck in the chamber shot on Felwinter, it will actually do a lot more. Next up, we have some Year 2 weapons. So Felwinter, as you can see, I've been comparing a lot. Felwinter was probably one of the most hated guns in Destiny. This is the Iron Banner shotgun. Let's look at the Year 2 Iron Banner shotgun. So I have not got a roll with rangefinder at all. I did get reinforced barrel, aggressive ballistics. It's pretty good roll. Not the greatest. Replenish is a decent perk to have now. And I got Army of 1 instead of rangefinder. So let's kind of go ahead and compare this guy. As you can see, it has a little bit more impact than the Found Verdict, but a bit less range. Overall, my Found Verdict will be doing more damage than this guy at a farther range than this shotgun. If we compare this to Felwinter's Lie, you can see it's a bit less in both stats. A bit less than Party Crasher as well. So, just by a little tad. This thing is still going to be really good. If I had to predict, since the April update, the only 2 weapons that Lord Saladin hasn't brought in was the hand cannon and this shotgun here, Ditrid's Riot. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that those are going to be the 2 weapons that he's going to be selling next Iron Banner. So go ahead and try to grind your Iron Banner shotgun, try to get a good rangefinder roll. I'm definitely going to try to do that. This guy, it's pretty good. It also has a lot more rate of fire than the Felwinter, so again, go ahead and try to get this thing with rangefinder next Iron Banner, and we'll see how this kind of rolls out. And now let's look at Binary Dawn. This is the Trials of Osiris Year 2 shotgun, and this guy actually has rangefinder 100% of the time. He will always drop with rangefinder. It is just the second perk that might change. So I got what's it called again? Close and/or personal, so I can shotgun melee people a lot more. As you can see, I have linear compensator and field choke. Field choke doesn't actually do too much in this, so I just went with linear compensator. This gun, a lot of people use it, but it's not actually too great. As you can see, it's not even as good as the Found Verdict, which is like the base for a good shotgun. The range is a lot lower. So you're going to want a perk like Close and/or Personal to go ahead and melee afterwards. As you can see, the magazine size isn't even as good. Of course, it has a rangefinder, so that kind of repairs the range a little bit. It might just put it on par with a Found Verdict. So, in all, this is basically a Year 2 Found Verdict without the full auto and without the bonus final round. And then we have the Conspiracy Theory, which is a lot like Felwinter's Lie. In fact, it is just a sliver. Like, I don't even know if you can see that. I'm on a big screen here, and I'm looking, and it's just a sliver of red on both the range and the impact. Now, the good thing with this is you can actually go through a quest chain and get this exact roll 100% of the time with some decent ballistics. You can still probably get better ballistics in some places, but this is decent. Rangefinder, rifle barrel, which is the best for range, and performance bonus, which is like one of the best perks now that they nerfed special ammo so much. So that makes this Conspiracy Theory really, really good. But this also means that the rate of fire is exactly the same as Felwinter's Lie, meaning that, well, it's hard to say this, but it's not going to be as great. Now, if you compare this to Matador, as you can see, Matador does still have better rate of fire, and mine obviously has more impact and stuff. So overall, if you want a very good, if you basically want a year 2 Felwinter's Lie with more stability and a bit less reload, which is one of the bad things with Felwinter as well, was the reload. Obviously, even worse on the conspiracy theory, but overall, if you want basically a year 2 Felwinter's Lie, go ahead and complete that Vanguard Strike quest chain, and you will get this basically god shotgun for PvP for free with these exact rolls. So if you have not gotten this yet, go ahead and grab this. This was the Felwinter. As you can see, like I said, it's just a sliver in both, so it's not really gonna make any difference. And the last shotgun, before I go over to PlayStation, was the Challenge of Elders shotgun. So if I go ahead and look it up right here, where is it? Pichu. I'm just looking it up online real quick. It is... Why did I not have this? Her Champion. Here it is. So her Champion actually has the exact same impact, exact same rate of fire as Felwinter's and Conspiracy Theory and Matador, except for, you know, but less rate of fire than Matador. It basically has everything like that, but the range is actually one more than the Conspiracy Theory. So overall, her Champion is better than the Conspiracy Theory. Is it better than Felwinter's and Matador? No, it's not, because let's go over the stats in just a sec. First, we're going to look at, on PlayStation, I have Her Courtesy, a high impact shotgun that you get from doing Prison of Elders level 28. I'll see you there. Alright, and now we're going to look at Her Courtesy, the Prison of Elders Year 1 shotgun. So this baby is still available to be got in Year 2. As you can see, I'm on my PlayStation 3 right now for this one. And this guy's rifle barrel and rangefinder, which is like perfect for this guy. Obviously, since I'm on PlayStation, I'm a very low level and I can't get this anymore. I mean, I can't get any other shotguns to really compare it to, so I'm just going to compare it to the Vanguard Conspiracy Theory right now. So obviously this is just the base Conspiracy Theory, so my Her Courtesy is, I mean, so that you can obviously increase the range on the Conspiracy Theory, but as you can see, there's a bit less impact, and once you get some range perks on, it'll be a bit more range, so it's definitely a contender. You can currently get this shotgun from doing the level 28 Prison of Elders, and you get it from the chest at the very end. And the gameplay you'll be seeing throughout this video will be mostly of this on my PlayStation because of skill-based matchmaking, so I've got some pretty amazing clips with the Her Courtesy shotgun, so you'll be seeing that throughout the video. Alright, so now let's go over the weapons. So, let's kind of just go ahead and say what the default impact is that you're going to be looking for. It's going to be 61. The lowest one on my list, which is the Comedian, is 52 impact. It's not very good. Again, it's not the best, but it is a decent shotgun if you want to go ahead and grab it. Although it's not that simple. Let's just go in no particular order, just kind of in the order it shows on Bungie.net on what shotguns we are. Let's go over the perks. The only real ones you're going to want to care about is the rate of fire, impact, and range. Sometimes reload, but for the most part, as long as you have like 3 or 4 bullets in your magazine at a time, you should be able to clear out some people and reload after the kill. So I don't consider reload too good, but some people might. So the Binary Dawn, the Trials of Osiris shotgun from Year 2, has 14 rate of fire, 61 impact, and 19 range. Obviously 61 being the default. 19 range is a bit higher than normal base. However, since it only has one random selected perk, there isn't really any range boosters. So, although the base range is above average, you can't really increase it, so it's a below average range. Next is the Dietrich's Riot, which has an impact of 61, a rate of fire of 14, the same as Binary Dawn, but its range is 17 instead of 19. However, it can have range boosting perks, so although the base range is lower than the Binary Dawn, it is overall a better shotgun if you have better rolls. Next up is her champion, the shotgun I was talking about before, with 5 rate of fire, again super slow, an impact of 67, which is the highest impact you can get on a shotgun, and a range stat of base range stat of 17. So it's the same as Dietrich's Riot. Obviously, you can get this from doing the Challenge of Elders, and obviously with some range boosting perks, this thing can be a monster. Next up we have the Party Crasher +1 with an 11 rate of fire, which is honestly one of the highest you can get if you don't count Binary Dawn's 14 and Found Verdict's 14. So Party Crasher is one of the highest rate of fire high impact shotguns, which is very good. It has an impact of 64, which is in the middle of the average 61 and the high 67. So the Party Crasher is kind of the middle ground guy, but its range stat base range is 23, which is huge. Saying as though the competitor, her champion, is only 17. So 23 is obviously higher than Binary Dawn, has a bit lower rate of fire and a bit higher impact. So Party Crasher overall is a lot better, as well as you can reroll it. Oh, you can't reroll it, you can reroll the Year 1 version, and you can get better range perks, as well as rangefinder and all that jazzy stuff. Next up is Two to the Morgue, with 14 rate of fire. Again, that's kind of the highest it can get, 61 impact the default, and 18 range, comparing them to Dietrich's Riot, which only has 17 range. So overall, this is the same gun as the Year 2 Iron Banner shotgun, but it has a little bit more range. So Two to the Morgue might just be a better gun. Next up is the Comedian with 23 rate of fire, which seems really high, but its impact is only 52 and its range is only 15. So overall, this thing is not going to fire as hard, but it's going to be firing a bit faster. Next up is the Fellwencher's Lie, which sits at 5 rate of fire, just like her champion in Conspiracy Theory, as well as 67 impact, the highest impact a shotgun can get, 22 range, which is actually one just lower than Party Crash, but obviously with some range enhancing perks you can get Fellwencher a lot higher. And you can't get this anymore. This was the Year 1 Iron Banner shotgun, so if you still have one, go ahead and pull out and use it, but if you don't have one, then you can never get it again. Again, Found Verdict is here with 14 rate of fire, 61 impact, and 18 range. A very, very good shotgun. Again, not as good as Party Crasher, but it's a really good just base shotgun here. You won't have to worry about rolls. You will have decent rolls. Again, everything would be perfect if it had rangefinder, but it does not. You can get this thing from doing the Vault of Glass raid on normal difficulty. Next up is Her Courtesy, the shotgun I showed you guys on PlayStation, and the shotgun you're probably seeing gameplay of in the background. It has 14 rate of fire, which is obviously the highest you can get with this, 61 impact and 12 range. So it's actually one of the lowest range stats of all the shotguns here, but you can actually still get this from the Prison of Elders level 28, and it is the only shotgun you can currently still get to this day that you can reroll from the Gunsmith. So go ahead and grind some Prison of Elders. Again, it's level 28. It should be very easy if you're max light level already, and just try to get this shotgun. It's a very good shotgun. Also, a nice little thing is the sniper rifle is a high impact sniper rifle you get from this as well, so get that to reroll a sniper rifle. It's a decent stuff. Next up is the Judgment 6, the Year 1 shotgun from New Monarchy, with 14 rate of fire, 61 impact, and 18 range. Again, it's a bit higher range than usual. It's a bit better than her Courtesy. It's basically a Found Verdict. It is actually exactly a Found Verdict with a bit more stability and a bit more reload. So overall the stats for this thing is a bit better than the Found Verdict, but obviously you're going to have to get some good rolls on this, and if you don't have it already, then you can't get this anymore. Like I said, this is a year 1 shotgun from the new Monarchy, so if you have this thing from House of Wolves, go ahead and re-roll this, and you'll get overall a better Found Verdict. Next up you have the Matador 64. This shotgun has 8 rate of fire and 67 impact. This is the only shotgun with 67 impact that has 8 rate of fire. The rest of them, which is only really Felwinter's Lie and her Champion, have 5 rate of fire. Which means that this Matador, although punishing when you miss, isn't quite as punishing as the Felwinter's Lie. And that just little 3 more rate of fire doesn't seem like much, but when you're in the heat of the moment, this thing can really do a lot better. And then it has 22 range, which is the same as Felwinter's, and 1 lower. Actually, no, I'm just joking. Yeah, 1 lower than Party Crasher. So that makes Matador 64 statistically the best shotgun. Except for you can no longer get this. This was you got from Crucible drops back in House of Wolves, and you could re-roll this thing. So this thing used to be a monster, but now not so much because you can't get it. If you still have one of these, 100% get this re-rolled and use this in the Crucible. It is probably the best shotgun. Next up is the Conspiracy Theory, which I forgot about. This is also one of the last Conspiracy Theory Matador. Felwinter and her Champion are all the highest impact shotguns at 67 impact, 5 rate of fire, and 16 range. Overall, the range on the Conspiracy Theory is the lowest of all the high impact shotguns. So if you have her Champion, you can try to get that with better rolls in Conspiracy Theory. Obviously, Conspiracy Theory is a bit easier to obtain, and it's only minus range by 1, and you're guaranteed a God roll Conspiracy Theory. So unless you get a God roll her Champion, chances are you're going to be using Conspiracy Theory in year 2. So now let's just kind of go over and say which shotguns are the best. So first of all, Found Verdict, like I said, it is a very decent shotgun. However, if you do not have a raid group, I don't think it's worth it. Like I said, there's a lot better shotguns out there. Next up on my, what I'm considering to be the best would be her Champion. Again, I do not have this, so I'm just going to go ahead and name this guy Super Honorable Mention. This is the only shotgun that's high impact that I do not currently own on PlayStation or Xbox. I will try my hardest to go ahead and grab one of these and maybe do a video on this later on, but this guy would be, actually it'd be her, it'd be this girl, because it's her Champion, not his Champion, so I'll just say it's a girl. So this girl here, she's pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm going to eliminate her right now, but based on stats, I'm going to put this way far ahead. It was really, really good. Next up is the Party Crasher. This guy is, well, just kind of the middle grounds. It's not high impact, but it's also not normal high impact. So it's a decent shotgun. Felwinter's Lie, it's a very good shotgun. It is the shotgun that kind of started the whole high impact shotgun thing back in the Dark Below. This is the only shotgun with 67 impact and 22 range. So this is basically the original shotgun sniper, as well as they actually nerfed this with House of Wolves. So back in the day, this guy used to be amazing. And then we have the Matador 64. I don't know if I already said that. And the Conspiracy Theory D. So let's go into the two categories here. Let's say you're only year 2 player. you only have access to weapons like the Conspiracy Theory, To the More, Comedian, Party Crasher, Her Champion, which is Riot, Binary Dawn. You don't have access to Fellwinter or Matador or Judgment. I would say that just start off with Conspiracy Theory because you get a God Roll one. In terms of top 3, I would say Matador is definitely number 3. I would say Her Champion would be number 2, even though I said I'd eliminate it. Just based on stats, Her Champion, if you get a better roll, Her Champion, you're basically better. And Party Crasher would be the number 1 shotgun to use in year 2, because it's kind of middle. Yes, it won't kill as far as Conspiracy Theory or whatever, but it'll still kill really far, and it's a bit more forgiving with its rate of fire. It also has a little bit more range. By that I mean 1 more range to make up for that impact. When I say 1 more range, I mean 1 more range of like the old Fellwinter's Lie or Matador, because it has actually a lot more range than the Conspiracy Theory or Her Champion. So overall, the range kind of makes up for the impact. Party Crasher is the best shotgun to use in year 2. However, if you're putting year 1 into consideration, Fellwinter's Lie easily outdoes the Conspiracy Theory. We can take that off, as well as I'm going to put Party Crasher +1 in the number 2 slot in terms of year 1 shotguns. And number 1 slot for best shotgun in Crucible, year 1 and 2, is the Matador 64, because it is basically a Fellwinter's Lie with a little bit more rate of fire. The Matador is probably the best shotgun to use in the Crucible. It is sad that you can no longer get the Matador 64, but that is how things go. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Bye bye. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys learned a little bit. See ya.